Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my quick review for the Maze Runner The Scorch Trials, which of course is the second movie in the Maze Runner trilogy. Luckily, it will only be a trilogy because they said that the third movie will not be split up into two movies. Maybe they just didn't have enough content to make it two movies, or maybe they were just like, no, we're not going to do what everybody else does. We're just going to make it one movie, which, thank you. Just that's perfect. I really enjoyed the first Maze Runner. I thought that was a really good, solid YA movie adaptation of a book. And I never read the book. Maybe the book sucks. Maybe the book's great. I heard really good things about the book. The entire book series, I've heard really good things. Especially the second movie. I mean, the second book. But, yeah, the first one had a lot of mystery, tension, action. The maze itself was awesome. The special effects were great. And I was blown away that that movie cost like $35 million to make because, for the most part, the cast is, I wouldn't say really well known. Like, the main character is played by the guy from Teen Wolf, the TV show, and for the most part, he's a big-ish name, so I was surprised that the budget was that small. But yeah, all the special effects were great, and even the monster design was really cool. Like, that movie had a lot of really good, awesome stuff. Then it got to the ending where it's just like, oh, okay, so it's just a whole government thing. All right, whatever. I didn't care for that. It felt too much like Divergent and Hunger Games and The Giver and all these other dystopian YA novels turned into movies. But besides that, that movie was great. But here, they continue with that whole dystopian government bull. Like, I didn't like at the beginning, at the end of The Maze Runner. And they continue that in this movie. But besides the length, this movie actually does a good job of presenting that, because it's not all about the government searching for these kids or whatever, or trying to get these kids back or whatever. You know, it's not just all like, ooh, conspiracies and, oh, these guys are evil because they're really evil. It's not all about that. It's all about an adventure, really, with these kids that were in the maze. Now they're outside in the world, the Scorch they call it, which is just a desert and destroyed buildings everywhere, dead people, there's zombies, there's even zombies in this world, which I will admit they do the zombies very well. But yeah, for the most part, it's just more action and more character development and just more, I guess, what else can I say? A little bit more story progression with the whole government aspect, but not so much where I was just getting bored and I'm just like, I don't want to know, I don't care. It's just Hunger Games and Giver and all these other movies. It's just the same thing. I never felt that way. I felt like, you know what? This is just a small portion of a great action film for the most part. That's a little too long. Like, the movie is like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and they could have shaved a good 20-25 minutes off of this movie, and it would have been perfectly fine. It wouldn't be a perfect film, but it would actually do it justice to shave off some of that stuff. When it gets to the action, Wes Ball, the director, that's his name. His name is Wes Ball. He does a great job. The camera work is smooth and very silky smooth and perfect. It's not shaky. It's nice. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's just nice. You know exactly what's going on. It's not that shaky bull you get in the Hunger Games or you even get in Divergent. It's pretty well done. The special effects are great here. The budget is a little bit bigger than the first one. Not huge. It's like a $60 million budget this time. And you can see they really spent a lot of money in the special effects because they look great. When they get to the city and there's all these destroyed buildings, it all looks great. The set design, the actors, hell, even the costumes, everything looks really, really good in this film. My main problem is that it is long. It feels long. And when I say there's great action here and there is in the beginning of the action scene. And then it goes on for a little bit too long. I'm just like, oh, come on. And even though there's not that much of that government conspiracy bull, when it comes to it, it's generic. It is. Like, the end scene, the whole end action scene is decent. There's some tension in there, but it's just, you know, it's just a gun battle and the government characters coming up and saying, hey, we're doing this for a good cause and blah, blah, blah. And you see some of the twists coming out of, you see some of the twists coming from a mile away. Like, one character betrays everybody else. And I'm like, I called that immediately. And yeah, there's just some things that aren't great about it. It's a little too long. The action scenes, while great at first and very well shot, they go on a little bit too long. Some of them are very similar to one another. Like, there's a whole scene where they find these zombies, which, like I said, are awesome. They're kind of like Last of Us zombies, where they move around like this and stuff, and they even snap, like they start biting into the air and stuff, kind of like Last of Us. There's a scene where they run away from them, and then later on there's a scene where they run away from the zombies. It's very similar action scenes. And even the government stuff and all that, and it's too long, like I said. It's still a really fun, entertaining movie, especially if you like the first movie. There's no maze in this one, but it's called The Maze Runner. It's not called The Maze, so you can give it some, give it a break. You know, Thomas is a likable character. The guy that plays him is good. Everybody does a good job. I like this film. So yeah, it's a sloppy review, but I'm just gonna tell you right here so I can get it out of the way and focus on next month, which is all about horror movies. I like The Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials quite a bit. It wasn't as good as the first one. It's a little slow at times, but besides that, I still recommend it way more than I recommend stuff like Divergent. So I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna give it a 29 out of 40. Good stuff, not great, but good. So there you go. That's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and until next time, goodbye.